Amnesty International strongly condemns Israel's deliberate killing of journalists for many months, but particularly yesterday in an airstrike on a media tent in the occupied Gaza City, where journalist Anas al-Sharif and his colleagues were killed in front of our eyes in an attempt to silence those who have been condemning and reporting the genocide, Israel genocide in Gaza. Anas al-Sharif in particular has been honored by Amnesty International Australia last year for his courageous reporting on the crimes committed by Israel in Gaza, on the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza. We acknowledge not only the courage, but also the responsibility he and other journalists have been taking in letting the world know, shedding a light of what's happening in Gaza. Of course, we condemn these killings. We call for an independent and impartial investigation into these war crimes. Amnesty International will continue to document the killing of journalists. We know that more than 230 journalists and media workers have been killed by Israel since 2023. And unfortunately, all these killings remain in total impunity. There is no justice, there is no reparation for the families of those who have been killed, and they face the same level of impunity that Palestinians are facing in Gaza at the moment. We are calling on the states to take concrete action. Condemnations, statements, UN resolutions haven't been enough to put an end to the genocide, to make Israel accountable for the crimes that has been committed in Gaza. The recent plans to totally occupy Gaza are extremely outrageous, concerning, given the fact that many states have raised their voice against some of these attempts. However, if states do not take concrete action, ensuring that they are not complicit in the crimes committed by ensuring that there is no transfer of weapons to Israel, that these declarations and statements and resolutions are transforming concrete actions, that justice is ensured for the Palestinians who have been killed and continue to endure a genocide and a starvation. It is important to remind the audience that Israel hasn't allowed international media to enter Gaza to report on the crimes that have been committed in Gaza. We rely on the courageous work of Palestinian journalists, and particularly Palestinian journalists that have been reporting on the genocide for AlJazeera and other international media outlets, have been helping human rights organizations to gather evidence to document the atrocities, the genocide that Palestinians are facing, the genocide that has been committed by Israel. The killing of journalists is not an isolated incident. It is not a collateral damage of war and conflict. The killing of Palestinian journalists in Gaza is an attempt to silence, is an attempt to cover up for the crimes that have been committed. Killing the messenger is not going to change the truth. Israel is committing genocide in Gaza against the Palestinians only because they are Palestinians. And it is important to say that journalists are civilians. They are being recognized by international law as civilians, and they don't lose their status as civilians only because they are reporting the crimes. They are protected by international law, and any attack and any killing against journalists is a war crime.